Stay tuned for another episode of the Coming Soon podcast with Spider.
Hello, everybody. Spider here, Coming Soon Podcast. Coming to you from San Antonio once again, being joined by Robert Cantu. My man, how are you doing, sir?
Doing great. Great.
Man, for sure, man. Appreciate your time. I mean, of course, you're in Austin right now, correct?
Yes, I am in Austin, Texas. Yes.
Okay, and of course, I mean, when it comes to where you're from, I mean, you were born in Corpus, I think I read, and then raised in Houston. So how did that happen?
Just, I think my parents were adventurous as far as moving, opposed to my other relatives. They kind of just stayed at the same address their whole lives. Most of them still are since I was childhood, and we always went up to Houston in the late '70s to go to Astroworld. And I think this is my job. My dad put in a job offer up in Houston, and of course, Houston pays more than Corpus Christi. And living in Houston, and when I was in third grade, and
okay, and of course, man, because I mean, not to jump ship. I mean, I just wanted people to know as far as the reason I asked as far as where we're from, because the name of your company is actually called Corpus Fusion. So of course that relates to Corpus Christi, right? Or am I wrong?
No, it don't. It actually, I like fusion, meaning not mixing, putting everything together. Let's collide things together. And as bad as I am as a true Mexican, I don't know Spanish that well, and I never knew what the meaning of Corpus Christi meant, but it means body of Christ. So I just thought that would be a good word, a body of fusion.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's cool, man. And
that's where I'm from.
Right.
But it kind of made sense when I was thinking of a little company, little name of my production title would be Fusion. I wanted something with fusion, and a body of fusion with mixing genres, flipping women roles where normally men would be in those roles. So I wanted that fusion.
Oh, nice, man. And of course, I mean, where does that start? Where did all that start? I mean, was it in school when you? I mean, were you writing in school? Were you already thinking you were going to be doing films, making films?
No, not at all. I'm dyslexia, so I was never a good student. And at that time in the early '80s, that was not even diagnosed yet. You just was put in a special class, and I was just trying to get by with a 70. I didn't even care about a B or A, just if I got a 70. But I was always into film. I had great eye and great detail in watching films, and we would talk about it. That's what we did in school. Whatever movie came out that year, and we just huddle around and talk about it. And I was all into the movie conversation. And it wasn't until later in my mid '90s when I saw Blue Velvet, and I realized, wow, that's what I want to make. I never. Before pre-Blue Velvet, actually putting in a VHS, never thought I would be a filmmaker. Halfway through it, I want to make movies like that.
Nice. No, for sure. I mean, during school, I mean, you took no acting. You didn't do theater. You didn't do anything related to.
No, not. I did have a camcorder, and I would just videotape the halls. I was just the guy with the camera. People would be like, and here comes Robert with the camera, but never. That wasn't in our heads yet, like today. That just didn't exist, that mentality. I wasn't even around people who acted or who even thought that was a special people or something. Like that doesn't happen to us. So that conversation never happened. Do you want to make movies? Do you want to be an actor? I didn't have friends who were in theater or even interested in filmmaking. Yeah. They were just worried about trying to get in college. So
okay. No. You see, and the reason I'm asking is because for me, I mean, when high school for me was late '80s, early '90s. I mean, I did have a lot of friends that were in theater. I tried to jump into photography. Turned out we had to get our own camera. So of course, I mean, family of 8. My parents couldn't afford it. And so that was that, But I mean, I was always the guy with one of those wind-up cameras, back in the day when they used to pay to go get them developed and, all that early stuff. But yeah, man, I always took a liking to it myself. I mean, when it came to photography, I started doing it later, and I think I can relate to you at one point because I was just a guy with a camera. I bought a nice, I think at that time it was a Nikon D7000, and I just learned how to use it, man. I learned how to use the features. I had friends that would teach me about as far as ISO, how to. I was shooting a lot of combat sports, so the light it was always dark, so I kind of had to like go back and forth and learn myself. But I mean, for yourself, I mean, when was it that I mean, did you take classes later on in life? I mean, like you said, I mean, were you like, okay, you know what, let me take a class on how to make films?
No, not at all. I have to say, watching movies that fit to my genre over and over again. I don't mean 4 or 5 times. I mean probably 100 times. I would watch a movie that I like that much.
Damn. Okay.
Something pops out of it, almost like a pop-up book. You see how the structure of movies come out
Yeah.
more, or just dramatic pieces here, and then later it plays a part later in a film, and I go, wow, I see the technique in that filmmaker, and that's it. I just thought, and I tried to make films with my friends, and it was just a mess because they were just having fun, and I wasn't. I was seriously like a neurosurgeon. I mean, I was like, angry and mad and yelling, and because they were just having fun and laughing and couldn't even say a line straight. So, but when I tried to edit it and put it together, it looked like, is it really that complicated? I didn't find it that complicated. It's just a visual puzzle piece. That's basically what it is. So, I just learned it on my own. Learned it. I would watch behind the scenes, listen to directors talk. I had, instead of, at the time, people had favorite actors. I didn't. I had favorite directors.
Oh, nice.
Wow, you like directors more than actors. I go, I love the actors, but I know I'm going to get a good movie if I follow a director that I like. And
Sure.
I was watching movies because of the director, not because the whole Tarantino thing where they put his name up front. That never happened in the 80s and 90s. It wasn't a Steven Spielberg film. It wasn't a Robert Zemeckis film today. It was just Back to the Future. It was, it was just a Empire of the Sun. It was just that. It wasn't Steven Spielberg's Empire of the Sun. That didn't exist.
Wow. Never thought about that.
Yeah, till Tarantino I don't think Tarantino did. I think his fans turned it into a trend. And it wasn't Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs or even Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. It was Tarantino's Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
That put the title up first. And that's what's now directors are being as famous as actors. But I followed directors. So
Yeah, I mean, especially since you knew you wanted to be a director, or at least be the guy behind the camera, right?
Yeah, when I saw David Lynch's Blue Velvet, I saw he has a very small film career. He doesn't have that many movies, and I watched them all, and I was just like, "Oh, this guy knows what he's doing." Elephant Man, and
Yeah.
even the first Dune. I love Dune. I think that his Dune is much better, much more.
Oh yeah, bro. I mean, I agree. He
There's
definitely did put his a lot of emotion into it, man.
not even a snooze. It's the characters, the villains pop out like villains. They don't really blend in like the new one does, and
Yeah.
Wild at Heart. I mean, this guy he has a narrative that stands out, and I also like David Cronenberg of The Dead Zone and Crash, and he did some very odd films, and so I followed that. I followed directors that I liked and kind of learned their craft and realized the difference between something a little more authentic or artificially plot driven. I stayed away. I was never interested in those kind of films anyway. Artificially plot driven stories.
No, you see, and let me ask you because, of course, I mean, now, I mean, you have when you're filming, I mean, a lot of directors do have people that volunteer, and they're like, hey, they just want to follow and learn themselves. I mean, was that going on back then? Like
Excuse
when
me.
you started?
What do you mean? What?
Oh, I mean, like now, like when there's a director, they have people that want to learn how to be a director, or how to work, behind the cameras. I mean, did they have a lot of that going on when you first started?
It is, but you're juiced in. Those people are juiced in. And like you can just walk up to, Oliver Stone and goes, "Hey, I'm a fan. Can I follow you?" He acted. These
Yeah.
are are elite people. You don't need, you know, they're not near us. They're not us in a
Right.
sense. They're on a different level, and some guy or girl who's just a who has a day job will never get in their world. You have to already be in their world to be their assistant or something.
Right.
As you know, Stanley Kubrick's assistant, he was an actor. He was in Stanley Kubrick's film, Barry Lyndon, before he became his assistant. So he already, you know, it ain't like
Gotcha.
some janitor wanted to be Kubrick's friend. That ain't gonna happen.
No, no. So you have to work your way up, or at least know that
You just
person.
gotta be already in that world. You know, you just, you know, John Ford ain't gonna have some kid to be his assistant. You know, someone's gonna hire him to work for the studio already is gonna be his assistant.
Right. Right.
That it ain't you know that's wishful thinking.
No, well, let me ask you. Let me ask you this. So, if somebody were to approach you right now, I mean, especially if they worked with you, you know, or somebody that you worked with, and they're like, hey, you know what? I want to learn. I want to learn how to, you know, how to do what you're doing. I mean, when it comes to being a director, I mean, being a writer. I mean, would it be easy for somebody to be able to approach you and ask you for something like that?
Yeah, of course, but I would definitely hear them out and then tell them, look, I make a specific genre. So
Right.
if you did in comedies, I'm not useful. I'm
Right.
useless to you. Or you want to make something with high special effects like Zemeckis or Jerry Bruckheimer type, Michael Bay type films, I'm useless. But if you want to tell a narrative, you want to tell dramatic stories, then yeah, you're going to learn more than you would. I believe I can help you.
Right.
But if you're into like, you know, buddy cop films and uh, rom-coms, I'm useless because those are artificially, I consider those artificially plot-driven stories versus something authentic and something that comes from within.
Right.
And I
No.
only stories. I can't help you with that. But if you're willing to learn a narrative, a dramatic narrative, then yeah, I'd be, you know, that's up to them.
Right.
I can't,
Right.
I can't. Yeah, it'd be nice to have someone I can pass on my craft. Yeah, of course.
Nice, man. And of course, I mean, when it comes to your craft, because I mean, you do stick to what you like, and I mean, it just makes sense, you know. So for you to be able to showcase and make these films, you've done a lot of shorts. So how I don't want to say how easy is it because I know it's not. I mean, you got to deal with scheduling, with timing. I mean, everything's in essence. But I mean, how easy was it the first time, or how hard was it the first time that you actually filmed something?
It was no different than the last film I made with you. It's hard. It's nerve wracking. It's hard. It's you feel like maybe my material's not even good enough to film. The actors are just going to turn to me, and this is dumb. Like, are you really wanting us to do? You know, I just have those thoughts every day, every time I'm going to shoot. I think it's going to blow up in my face. And and I heard an interview with Kevin Smith that helped me with that or understand that feeling is he was terrified to shoot Dogma back in I don't know how long ago it was, but
Yeah.
he did a film called Dogma about religion
Yeah.
and with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in it and great cast, Chris Rock and Salma Hayek.
Oh
I had
yeah. A lot of comedians in there.
a lot of it, and that was a good take on religion.
Yeah.
And a week before, a month or a week before filming, he was having panic attacks and thinking, "Oh my God, how am I going to make this movie?" So he called Robert Rodriguez to make it.
Yeah.
And he goes, dude, this is your film. And if you're nervous, that's a good thing because you're doing something right. If you weren't nervous, then you're doing something that's kind of is not meant to be. And
Right.
that meant a lot. And he, you know, to me, I heard that and I just realized if you don't have those nerves because you're doing something creative, if you can barely touch the surface, then yeah, you're not playing it safe. If your feet is flat on the surface and feel great, you're not taking any risk or you're not doing something substantial. So those were the nerves. That's why those nerves are there. They're not nerves because of doubt. They're nerves because you're going to the deep end. You're
Yeah.
risk. You're not being repetitive. And that's it.
No, I mean it makes sense because I mean it's just like in the fight game. I have friends that do compete in combat sports, and a lot of them they still get nervous, and it's like, dude, those are good because those are emotions, like you said. They're gonna go out there and I mean it's not because they're scared. It's just every time they go fight, they still get nervous about it. But
Means to you.
I agree, man.
Has a lot of your. It means a lot to you, and I haven't made a film in 2 years, and I know a lot of other filmmakers, and I'm not judging it, but I can't just make a movie about a red door or some about someone who's can't make a decision of you know if I should leave my wife for this other. I can't make those. So I'm not interested in making a film just to be a director. I want to make a film that all of them says something about me. To be honest, all these films here,
Yeah.
they represent me. You like, is this his story or he's kind of, this is his narrative, and yeah, it's my narrative. It says a lot about me with toxic abuse, how I feel about alcoholics. I didn't set out to make a film to teach people about alcoholism. I wanted to make a movie of how knowing how being around someone who's an alcoholic, how intoxicating it is to be around them. It's
Right.
more per perspective of the viewer, not her narrative. It's being around that person and how difficult it is to be around. How it's not fun to be around an alcoholic.
No, yeah. I mean, for a couple of years, I was that person, and yeah, just get on people's nerves because nobody else is drinking. You're the only one drinking and thinking you're having a good time, but everybody else around you ain't. So, but
Yeah.
let me ask you this, though, and not to backtrack. Oh, actually, I do want to backtrack, but also on your IMDb, man, that had showed that you moved to Los Angeles. So, how did that come about?
I I watched after watching Woody Allen's film Crimes and Misdemeanors. Is it no? It was Hannah and Her Sisters. I think a 1988 film, and I was watching it in the mid 90s, and there was this moment where he's about to kill himself. He's depressed. He's depressed as you can be depressed, as we all been depressed. And he's talking about killing himself, and he he's sweating so much it slipped and it went off. And he had to answer the door. What happened? He's all embarrassed and ashamed of had to explain it's nothing. So he got dressed and went down for a walk, and then went to a movie, just mindlessly walking, and then decided I'm tired. I want to sit down and watch a movie. And he's explaining that he's watching this Marx Brothers film, and he's just watching how beautiful life is. They're having fun, they're dancing, they're singing, and he's realizing, what the hell am I worried about? Why am I worried about something that's going to happen I have no control of?
Yeah.
And it wasn't what he said. It was just, I need to go out in LA and make a movie. I need to go out and I need to get away from people that aren't helping me get to what I need to get to.
Right.
And I asked two of my friends to come with me, and it was like asking them to just go to the water and breathe underwater. And if you take enough breath, you might be able to breathe underwater. It was like asking that. They just like, what? Like, so
It was unheard of.
my own.
Yeah.
I went out on my own and did it. And in 6 months, I was making my own film
Wow, dude.
after being there. And I mean, I shot on at the time it was film, shot on 35 millimeter film. I worked on film sets. I worked on college films, and I did everything. I did craft service. I hold the boom.
Yeah.
I had a pickup truck, so I got hired just because I had a pickup truck to pick up
Oh,
things.
yeah.
I did everything, and I ended up putting a little script together and a crew, and did it.
Got
And
it done.
they asked the same questions that you did. Like, what'd you go to school? I go, I didn't. I learned from watching films. I learned a lot. It's just being
Right.
making movies.
You see, and for me, I mean, like in school, I did okay. I was in like a straight A student, and it wasn't because I didn't try. It's just I didn't want to be there. I'm
Yeah.
more of a hands-on. I just knew I wanted to get out of high school and get to work. I mean, I wanted to do something else. I mean, going into trade school, going into just made it made a lot more sense to me because I wanted to actually work with my hands rather than read a book. You know, even now, I mean, I can't watch YouTube and learn something. I mean, that's the thing. I gotta hire or not hire, but even pay somebody to come and hey, show me how to do this. Here's my laptop. Show me how to. And that's because I can't learn any other way. You know, it's just harder for me to understand. It's just if somebody's here, you know. So for you to actually be around people that are making films and learning from them, I mean, it makes sense because I would be the same way. You know, I would be like, man, well, can I just see what you're doing? Because you know, you're telling me, oh, I'm gonna, you know, shoot this angle. I mean, you're breaking it down for me. It doesn't it doesn't do anything for me. But if I'm there and I'm watching you do it, and I'm like, okay, that's why he's doing this, or that's why he's. I mean, I'm watching, you know, I'm watching you work, and I'm watching, you know, how you guys are actually making this happen. Because, I mean, I can get a camera and point it somewhere. It doesn't mean it's a movie, you know. It's just it takes more than just holding a camera and making it, hoping that it'll make it happen. You know, there's a lot of direction. I mean, you guys you know, I mean, having worked, with you that one day, I mean, I do the same thing. I watch, I pay attention, and it interests me because it's like, you know what, man. I mean, so many people out there are like, man, I want to make a movie, you know, and I hear them every time, you know, and it's hard. I mean, I can invest so many thousands in a camera, and then it's like that's not even the hardest part about it, you know. It's like you still gotta get a crew that's going to work with you. You still got to, you know, when it comes to locations, you know, you still got to do a lot of footwork. And so, I mean, the fact that everything falls into place, so to speak. I mean, that day that we shot, because like you had stated at one point, we didn't know how long we were going to shoot there. You know, we could have been told to leave, and that would have been that. You know, but we
Well,
stayed there.
in working in LA and working on so many projects, student films, independent projects, living in LA, and just walking by, and you see trailers and a film set all right on location, just stopping and just looking at them, how they make films. I just sit there and I watch them like a spy camera, just watching them and just look at how everything is. And no one's all in a panic. Everyone's making a film like working in the kitchen or working in a auto mechanic place. Everything's just normal. Nothing's dramatic. Nothing's a big deal. It's just another day in the office, but it's outdoors and shooting film. And it's like, you know, that's professionalism. That's structure. And when I was locating for that location, I had no idea we were going to get kicked out the hour over there or even midway just filming. But I knew it was a corner place. I knew it was quiet.
Yeah.
And not just that, I didn't want it to look like a film set. I would have just said, hey, we're just doing a photo shoot.
Yeah.
We can't film. That would kick you out.
Yeah.
So I know from other things, and not that I learned this technique, I just see people doing a photo shoot and cops just walk past them. They don't say nothing. Yeah. But every time I see a film crew work, you can't film here. Where's your permit? So I realized, just say you shoot, just say you're doing a photo shoot, and people just walk. And that's why I was telling the sound guy, hide your sound stuff. I don't want no one to see it. As soon as they see that, that's a red flag. So those are just techniques I picked up working, and you know, it comes with extensive experience. Not, I want to make a film, and you're not going to know that unless you work on other projects. And you know, working on other projects, I see today no one wants to work for free. And who does? That's hard. But if you're investing in your craft, then it's not free. You know, it's free because all those free jobs, well, then what you saw is what I learned. Yeah. No one would have done that if they didn't have my experience. No one would. Because they're too worried about doing it right, making it perfect. Yeah. Making it, it has to be this way. And you know what? There is, as long as you're getting what you need, that's all that matters, you know, and it really does. And I hired you and the other guys 1 week before that shoot. Yeah. So that's part of filmmaking. And I hired Ellen, who played the Asian pimp, the same time. The week before, the other actor dropped out. So I had 1 week I had 1 week to cast you guys and a principal character. Yeah. And that's filmmaking. You got to roll with the punches and figure it out. And that's the thing about filmmaking. It's all about figuring out and coming up with solutions. Yeah. And don't get fixated on, I want that actor. just because they quit. And oh no, you know what? There's another actor. There's
Right.
always.
Well, I mean, one of the things, I mean, for myself, because I have been jumping on a lot of projects lately, man, and it's, I mean, I keep having friends that ask me how they can get involved. And the first thing I tell them, and it's always been the first thing is I tell them is you got to show up.
Yeah.
If they ask you, hey, they're looking for extras, like show up. I said, because chances are not everybody, you know, you're thinking, oh, 30 people are going to be there. It's only 3. And out of the 3, you get picked to do something, you know, something else. And it's like that's how it goes. You know, I mean, you volunteer, but I mean, like you said, I mean, you're learning. Well, you got to learn from it. If somebody's going out there and they're making films and they're complaining that, oh, I've done 10, 15 for free, I mean, and they haven't learned anything, then that's on them, you know, because this is better than school. I mean, that's why I'm like, man, I do a lot of BTS because I'm watching you guys work. I'm watching how the actors act, how they look, what, you know, when the camera's here, like how to angle themselves to look at the camera so that they can be on camera. You know, I mean, there's like a lot of tricks or technique that I picked up just from watching, you know, and I'm gonna keep learning, you know, but yeah, man, I was gonna say, I know you had hired myself. I mean, me and this guy right here, Fernando Mora, man. Of course, you know, we showed up that day, and you know, I mean, I'm grateful, man. I appreciate that, you know, I was able to get that opportunity, and Kiki, of course, you know, I got to give him props because he did vouch for me and Fernando, and that's how we got on there, man. So
Yeah,
good
keep
deal,
getting
man.
part in it. Getting you guys. The first guys, I had a SWAT team crew, and they kind of bailed out on me, or just didn't work out, and I had a week to figure it out, and you know, you, and also working here, it goes back to I want to get paid. No, well, when you don't get paid on projects,
Yeah.
you're getting connections. You're supposed to network.
Yeah.
So all those free projects I worked on San Antonio, it paid off that day. You
Yeah.
can't, and it goes back to what you're saying. Well, you know, a lot of people making movies, but what's their connections?
Yeah.
Because I got all the, you know, I went to Kiki for connections. I went to other people here in Austin for connections.
Yeah.
It just, you got, you can't just walk on and go, I want to buy a camera that costs $1,500, $2,400 and go, oh, I'm a director. Well, you have no connections. You have no experience.
Yeah.
So all that extensive experience, it paid off that day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It just didn't happen. I had all that experience, all those connections. I had Kiki. I had people here in Austin who also helped out for San Antonio. And it just paid off. And sometimes also having that experience to make that leap I didn't know Ruby 6 months ago. I didn't know her. I didn't know she existed. I just took that leap and saw her and go, hey, would you be interested in my script? She said, send it. There you go. That's all that happened. I didn't know her.
Yeah.
And it's working. Like, I think a friend of mine who was in the girl that Patty Cortez was in my last film.
Oh, yes.
Doing a film in San Antonio. She's posting, and the director's posting. We need extras. I'm not. I don't even know if they're paying them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They need extras,
Yeah.
right? I don't know who's showing up. I don't know who's turning it down, because even if they are not getting paid, these are people that are going or moving up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You want to work for them, even if it is for free, just to meet them, get their connections, get that experience, get that networking going.
Oh, yeah.
Just turn it down because it's free. Yeah, you're just going to be walking on the same place. You're going to be your life is a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
And
you see, and I was gonna say too, because a lot of times when I get there, I mean, it's just like you said, is to be able to meet other people. Because I mean, I'm talking to the boomstick operators, I'm talking to the camera guys, I'm talking to you know, the directors, writers. I mean, I'm trying to throw myself out there, because I mean, and it does happen. I mean, I jump on one project and somebody else, they see me and they're like, hey man, I'm doing something else too, if you're interested. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I've been fortunate to be able to jump on, you know, from project to project and keep getting asked, you know, even if it is as an extra or just helping out behind the scenes, you know, either way it works for me, because I do want to keep learning, you know, and I don't want to pay for school. So I'll take this, you know, I'll take this experience, man.
well, I mean, this industry drives the highest percentage in just by chance.
Oh,
It doesn't matter how much credentials you have, experience. It's mainly by chance.
Yeah.
And an actress that was in this film here, for oh god, for this one here, Florentine Gardens.
Yeah.
She did a role for me, and she was mainly a model, but she's trying to be an actress. And then a friend of hers invited her to go to this little party, Hollywood party, but just a party. And casting a director was there and casted her in the film, put her in a feature film. Liked her at the party, and it's just by chance. It's just people you know, and she, on her level, she didn't have any experience. She didn't even have a SAG card, but that's all. It's all about that. It's all about. It's by chance, and someone who puts up a platform for you to be a part of, and if it's not getting paid, but it's a platform for you to network and show your craft. I think it's insulting for people to turn it down just because they're not getting paid. Well, you're investing in your craft. I don't know how that's a waste for you.
Right.
You know, especially just standing there all day waiting. It's not. We're not asking you to pull cables and carry carry things. We're just asking you to be an extra in the background, and it's going to take all day because we're making films. But I have a problem with that, and every time I send my script, I do get a little agitated when it gets turned down, because I know I'm making strong material, and it hurts. It bothers me that you're turning it down for all the wrong reasons, not because of the script. For all the wrong reasons is why I get upset. Some people write me a whole thing saying why they didn't do the script because it's too vulgar, too strong material. Then I could accept that. And I've had actresses write me a whole thing about why they and that's fine. But turning it down for the wrong reasons, like, oh, well, I like to get paid. Well, we all like to get paid. I mean, who doesn't? Well, what kind of comment is that? And then you see their work, and it's like, wow, okay, you're turning me down, but you said yes to that, and all right, you got things backwards. You're missing the ball. You're thinking too much of the limelight instead of material.
Yeah. You see, well, let me say this, because one of the stories, because I do attend a lot of conventions. I go to a lot of these horror, retro, and I get to meet a lot of the actors from films in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And for the most part, a lot of them, they're like, man, I went with a friend that wanted to be in the movie, and they picked me out of everybody. They were like, hey, you want to, and it for me, that's just like you said. I mean, there is opportunity because, if I'm in a group and, out of five, and, the director is like looking for, or anybody, they're looking for somebody, and you just happen to fit that role or that look that they need. I mean, that's it. I mean, it does happen. I mean, like you said, I mean, when it comes to filmmaking or being in films, I mean, that's a lot of people get opportunities like that. I'm sure for the most part it's who but everything else is, people just taking that chance and liking something about you and asking you to jump on. So I'll be ready for that one. Now we'll see.
Yeah.
But of course, this project that we keep talking about, man. I mean, it was actually something like you said that was I guess personal, because like you said, all the films do have something to do. They do come from you. It's not just something that you want to write. But this one right here, Toxic Abuse.
Yes.
I mean, the cast that's on there, man. Tell us a little bit about the actors and actresses on here.
Well, Riley, like I said, I saw her. I think I got her. I don't know how I got her feed on Instagram. I saw her. I thought, oh, well, I take pictures, so I want to take. I approached her as do a photo shoot.
Right.
And she said, yeah, sure, whenever you want. And then I started looking at her profile, and I saw that, oh my, it looks like she's trying to act, or she's doing. I seen her audition demos.
Yeah.
I go, then I text her, message her, like, you're an actress too. He goes, yeah, I'm more want to head in. I want to be more an actress than a model. So he goes, I'm a model because it gets me out there, but all actors and are models too, anyway. So I'm not surprised to hear that, but I sent her the script, and it kind of just snowballed. This is the right person. I sat on the script for over a year because I really couldn't find the actress that I actually wanted. I just it's not. I just didn't. I wanted the performance to be very gritty, very dark, and just wasn't finding it on everyone, and I didn't want it to look fake. When I wanted to come out more natural, and when Ruby did send me an audition, I was like, wow, I didn't give her any points, I didn't give her any
Man,
credit, nothing to pointers or direction. She just sent it to me, and I was like, this is exactly the performance I wanted.
damn.
And again, working for free and meeting people and helping them out, well, it helped me out again. Where I saw Riley she post Riley Rodriguez. She post on Facebook. She's going to Kinston, or what's that? The news channel over there, Kinston, or I don't know what.
KSAT? KSAT?
KSAC, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, KSAC, to promote her Landman screen premiere. So I go, fuck, I got her feed. I got her, and I befriended her because I met her years ago when she was, I think, 17 or 16 on a project. And I got her feed, and I just messaged her, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I was the still photographer on this project that she worked on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember me, but congratulations on your Landman thing and everything. And how was it? And she just responded back, like, oh.
Oh, and I think the man got a phone call. Once again, of course, everybody that's following along, let's give it a minute. Robert Cantu joining us from Austin, Texas, of course.
All right.
Originally.
All right, you there? I got a call coming in.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Can you got it?
Oh, man.
I got you, Andre. I can hear you though. Can you hear me? Give it a second, guys. Check 1 2. If you can, log off and then log back in. Give it a second, guys. Of course, had a little hiccup, but we're gonna get back to it. Spider here, coming soon podcast, joined by Robert Cantu. Let me see if you can hear me.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Let me see. Here we go. Can you hear me? If you can, log off and then come back on. Let's give it a second, guys. Of course, getting back into this conversation. Let me see if I can get the man back on. Here we go. Can you hear me? Here we go, guys. Once again, let's wait for the man to jump back on real quick. Spider here, coming soon podcast. Had Robert Cantu joining us from Austin, Texas. Here we go. Hello, you hear me, sir? You got it? Give it a second, guys. Somebody could adjust my. Can you hear me? Check 1 2. Check. Can you hear me on there? Give it a second, guys. Once again, Spider here, coming soon podcast. Being joined by director, producer, writer Robert Cantu. Corpus Fusion, of course. Make sure to check out the website, www.corpusfusion.com. We were talking about his latest project, Toxic Abuse, that I was able to jump on, as well as others here in San Antonio. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think I lost volume. Let me see if I can get back on there real quick. You hear me now?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? It's just on your end, man. If you got that call, it probably just mess with your feed. If you can, log off and then come back on. Let me see if I can get this guy on here real quick. You hear me on there? Let me see. Okay. You hear me? Testing 1, 2. Testing. Give it a second, guys. Once again.
Hey, you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear
Yeah.
me? I can hear you.
Okay, good. I couldn't hear
Oh,
you.
it's okay. Yeah, I was gonna say because for some reason, like it happens when they get a call, and for some reason you gotta like log off, and then you gotta redo the whole thing. Which I mean, if it happens again, you can definitely do that.
All right.
But yes, man. I mean, of course, when it comes to your project, man. I mean, this is something that the actors, actresses. I mean, you were speaking about one of them earlier. I mean, you reached out to her, she responded back. I mean, this is it just goes to show because I mean she could have just avoided or not even read the message. The fact that she's still reading her messages let you know she's still humble, man. So
Riley, because I knew the person she worked with, and she
yeah,
worked hard on the project with that person. And I think that is the only reason she responded to me because, it's one of those things where, hey, I know you. How?
yeah,
You give an actual person, like someone says they know someone, and then oh, it's Tukiki. Okay, you're cool, right? Because of that. I think because of the same thing, we knew the mutual person, and then she responded. And I just sent her the script. I go, hey, would you be interested in reading the script? And she goes, well, I don't do short films no more, And I said, well, she just said, okay, just send it anyway. And she got back with me saying she loves it. She loves it, and it's very powerful, very strong, and inspiring. And she kind of hesitated what role because I don't think she wanted to play the lead, but I told her she played the role she actually wanted to play. So, so I got her, and I was very excited that that just goes. You need to just go out and go out and go for it. I didn't think I would even be working with someone on her level, and it just happens. I feel good about you got to feel good about yourself that you created some material that someone on her level is willing to be a part of, and this down the line, it's just been recasting. I had another actor to play the captain, and I couldn't get it confirmed, so I just I have to recast. You're not giving me so it's just all down the line. Everything kind of just you just don't know how your movie's going to be. You just got to let it happen, let it live on its own. And this is the first film where I shot all in like 2 weeks of its date of its shooting. I've never shot a film that way, but it kind of worked to my advantage because every scene is separate.
right,
Every different. So not everyone. I don't have to put it all in 3 days and have to cast everyone, and then we all shoot back to back, which I guess that's a normal way of doing it. There's nothing wrong with that. But for this script, it kind of worked in that advantage.
right,
Because shot the first month, I had no idea how I'm going to shoot your scenes with the human trafficking. Nothing was cast. I was like, I'm going to think about it when I get to it. So, and I kind of just told everyone it's a white lie, but I knew I can do it.
yeah,
I just, you know, I don't have nothing planned. I just
right.
know when it comes to it, I'm going to put it all together, and obviously I did.
Oh
So
yeah, I mean, it played out like you said, because a lot of it, and I think it makes sense also because you said, I mean, you gotta let it breathe. You gotta let it live. I mean, a lot of times, if you write a script, I mean, I know you want that actor to play it the way you see it, but there might be something that they bring to it, and you're like, damn, you know what, keep that on there because it made it a lot more better, or maybe it added to what you were looking at, and I mean, with ideas and actions like that, I mean, I see it all the time, and it's just, I mean, they have a script written out, and it's they tell you, oh, well, just go ahead and improvise something towards the end, and you just go with it. It's what you're telling me to do, how to do it, and then I just go ahead and finish it out the way I respond, naturally, and so it makes it a lot more real. But man, I mean, I gotta say, I mean, like I said, earlier, I mean, I did get to see a lot of um, you know, you guys working. I mean, when it came to you being the director, I mean, of course you were the writer, but the camera guys too, the boomstick guy, I mean, everybody, and it's a small circle, everybody that was there I've talked to before, and I was like, okay, well, shoot, I get to finally meet these people in person, and so that was a cool deal. I enjoyed it. I mean, for the most part, it was a great day. The weather was on our side. You know, nobody told us to leave. There was like people working like behind us in the building that kind of added character to it because we had a live studio audience, so to speak. So it was pretty cool, man. It was a cool day.
Yeah, you have the essential crew that needs to be there, and when you add more to it, when you have the mindset of working on a film and have unnecessary crew,
Yeah.
it's going to bring attention, and it's also going to bring attention you don't want, like cops,
Oh yeah.
property owners, to not let you be there. Just filmmakers. Sometimes they have the mentality that they have the right to be there, even though they don't,
Yeah.
and that's an aura of people or civilians can pick up on.
Yeah.
Like, are they really supposed to be there? And I just had that. It was just three crew. It was a 3-man crew. Me, the cinematographer, and the sound guy. That's it. What more do I need? It was great sunlight. Uh, he shot on 4K. We're all gonna fix it in post anyway. So, it's not that complicated. I mean, you saw some of the pictures already. It looked
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
yeah, they come out clean.
so filmmaking, I don't try to control what I can't control. What I can control is having everybody ready to be there and for me to be ready.
Right. Right. No, and I gotta say too, because I mean that circle that you mentioned earlier. I mean, having a knowing people in the film business. I mean, even I mean here on the regional circuit, right? I mean, you were out there doing photos for Kiki doing his premiere, man. So of course it goes hand in hand. I mean, you guys help each other out, and everybody keeps growing.
Yeah, I was there at his premiere for what was that?
The marbles.
The Marbles, and helped out, gave him the photos, and he helped me out a lot. We all just helped scratch each other's back, and that's all what it's about. And I mean,
I just so happen to have his poster here, by the way. So,
yeah, that's it. And
oh man,
he said I need it if when I have my premiere. I know how important it is, so I'm gonna give him the best pictures I can and all the photos, and he can use that for his publicity and everything. And it's very well needed. But you keep thinking about yourself and just think about, am I getting paid or not? Well, you okay. I kind of look at it like this: I can do this for free, or I can go to my day job and just be
yeah.
miserable.
No, yeah, yeah. You see, and the fact that you're helping out, I mean, that's when those favors kind of come in, because I mean, you were filming. I mean, when you I don't know if you asked Gigi as far as if he knew any other actors here locally, but I mean, he could have easily said no or just been like, hey, I don't know nobody, But no, he reached out to a few of us, and of course, I mean, we both responded and we showed up, So I mean, those are the kind of connections that I want because I'm grateful. Like I said, the fact that he actually thought of me, and I was like, hey, I can fill in. I'm an extra.
Yeah, but it's I'm not. It's also being around people that are. There are some people that want to be in it,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like they're kind of not mature yet to be in it. You know what I mean? Kind of like, I want to be in it. I want to be in it. Yeah, I want to do that. It's like, all right. And then you have someone. It's just there's a vibe.
Right. Right.
That, all right, good for you. Go over there. Go away. You're
You're too
and there,
giddy, man.
there's also people circles that I know. I won't ask. I won't ask. Maybe I missed out, but that's my loss. But my guess is I don't think I would have got anything from them. And it's just how about choose who to ask instead of everyone, because you don't want to be asking too much for the same people that are might who couldn't help you. And then I don't know. It's just a vibe. You know
Right,
who to talk to, and you know who to ask, and don't know to ask, and not know who to ask.
right,
Don't
right.
ask because they're on a different level or they're on a different mindset than you. And asking them is now kind of almost like when I went to Kiki, I wasn't asking. It wasn't like a handout. Hey, I needed help. It was not a handout. Just hey, I need help. Can you do something? If I went over here on another person that I know, it'd be like a handout mentality.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, doubt.
Oh yeah, true, true.
Like okay, I'm not gonna ask them because it's just gonna come off. Well, no, I'm all of a sudden busy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People love to use that card. Oh, I'm busy. Oh, I'm working on this. I'm sorry. Okay. How about just be honest and say no? you
No,
know.
no, yeah, yeah. But you see, I like what you said now too, because a lot of times, like people that you, if you were to ask that other or those other guys, that came in, the whole mentality, the whole attitude would have came different. It could have changed the film. It could have changed what what you wanted to portray, and it's just like you know what, it's not gonna happen. So yeah, true.
Yeah, it would have done 100%. Those the other. He also threatened me because I got mad at him for. I brought up how I yeah I told him thanks for everything. Thanks for not you know responding. And I go, dude, I sent you texts. I left you voice messages. I even called you, and you got rid of me, like I was inconveniencing you. So, and he threatened me, verbally about me talking smack to him.
Yeah.
It's like so. And I think that attitude would have played out. Yeah, you're right. It would have not.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's even better that it happened the way it did, man. Because I mean, I for one was I was looking forward to it, man. I was like, okay, you know what? I'll go in there and you just point and I'll walk. It's that simple. So it's just being able to take direction and just follow what you want us to do. So of course, real
And I have
easy and quick.
across the board with Steven playing the captain
Oh
versus Ellen playing the Madam Primp versus the male pimp. I mean, everything just worked out on its own. And when you try to control it too much, in my experience, it's gonna come off fake, or it's not gonna come out as authentic as hell. And now
yeah.
all my movies, I approach that like that, all of it, all the time.
No, you see, well, one of the things that I like, I mean, especially having worked with a lot of the same actors here in San Antonio, man, is that we already have that chemistry. So I already know I feel comfortable around him. So if it's we got to put something out there. It's gonna happen. It's
Yeah,
not like me trying to act sad and that guy's laughing, and it's like, okay, yeah, we got to be on the same level, and so yeah, it's cool, man, and I'm looking forward to more opportunities this year, myself. I mean, this project. Let me ask you because this project is. When are you looking to have it out?
hopefully by the end of March.
Mark?
By March, I'm actually going to give the material to the editor tomorrow,
Oh, nice. Okay.
and he's going to give me a 2 month you know span to put it together. So let's see. I can't wait to see it. I hope it's done by the end of February, but I would say by March, March, or
Okay.
I should be already submitting. I would like to have a screening, and then so I'm going to submit it to the film festivals. But hopefully, I have something by March.
And let me ask you, what's the time frame? What's the running time?
I would say between 15 to 20 minutes. At the end. I wrote an opening monologue in the beginning.
Right.
That's already 2.5 minutes of. It's going to be almost like a visual montage of the detective before we
Right.
even see the movie. You're gonna hear more narration about her.
Oh, nice.
A bunch of slow images, very visual scenes that I shot with her, um, all around Austin. Her drinking, her looking at the sunset, her crying. her um, also just a visual point of how we see this person. It's not how it's not. It's in more of an artistic view. Not it's not taken as a real point of her life.
Right.
More it's more visual and more cinematic. So
Nice.
we have two. That's already an added 2 minutes based on the script is already 14 pages. So we're looking at about maybe a 20-minute film that hopefully will impact everyone. I mean,
Nice,
I
man.
want to make a film that doesn't feel like, the length of this time. 20-minute film that feels like 10 minutes. It's exciting. So,
No, no, for sure, man. You see, and I mean, I love films in general, but I mean, when it comes to short films, I like them a little bit more because they told the story a lot quicker. Obviously, they only do them in 25, 30 minutes or less, and
mhm.
and they get the message across, and that's for me. It's like, okay, you know what? I mean, if when I go to the movies and I'm in there like the first 10, 15 minutes, I already know if I'm gonna like it or not, and a lot of times I don't, but I sit there and I'm like, damn, I still got an hour and 20 minutes to go, man. But the short films, they're easy and quick, get the message out and just we're able to get the character build up, I mean everything that comes with it. So
I think it's very action. I mean, your scenes were very action, and that's probably the only high point of the film. It's very dramatic and very emotional. But there shouldn't be a dull moment in it too. There shouldn't be many silent, non-verbal scenes. It should be. I'm trying to put it together, real fast-paced film too. Based.
no, for sure, man. And I mean I'm looking forward to it, so for sure as soon as it comes out, I mean I'm pretty sure you'll let us know, man. And if anything else, I mean, let me ask you this before we wrap this up. Are you looking at any other projects this year?
Well, yeah, I am. I actually, I have, I haven't made a film in over 2 years. So in that time, I've been writing all these short scripts like this. I wrote this a year ago, and I just finished it. I have another one, a continuance or another film I made previously in L.A. and
Okay.
it's more of a continuance of one of the characters or where what happens to them. And I like to start making this, like start production in it now. Uh, but I don't. I'm more now thinking about another title, another movie another topic I want to make
Right.
that that I haven't that no one's touching, but I want to do it. But it's really screaming for me to do it, and it's I want to make an erotic uh, drama.
Nice.
And
Nice.
about a cop was very conservative, and ends up discovering their sexuality with the power of being a cop
Right.
too. So you know, I make a lot of cop films. So I wanted to bring up. I make a lot of cop films, but none of it's never about the crime. It's more
Okay.
about the individual and how
Oh
they
yeah. Yeah.
with their job and their problem. And that's a great thing about why I like noir films because it's character driven. And if you watch any noir film, it's not really about the crime. It's about the detectives, the characters of what's going on with them. And I think it'd be very interesting to tell an erotic story about a detective who
Right.
goes that obsession of the power and how they can use their power to gain, uh, you know, uh, their dark habits.
No, no, for sure,
It-
man. And it's true because it's a lot of backstories. I mean, we keep thinking like police officer, we see him and they're like, oh yeah, he's a cop, he must be doing great. But at home, life's probably a mess. I mean, it's like you don't know what's going on. So I mean, stories like movies like that, and stories. I mean, I like them because yeah, it gives you that other what we don't see on the regular. Everybody, we go to work every day, we smile. Everybody's like, oh, this guy's doing okay. And you go home and it's like a freaking tornado, So I mean, not for me, but some people, man.
yeah,
But that's true, man. And of course, brother, man, I would love to get you back on here, man. I mean, I know we had a little hiccup earlier, so it burned a few minutes. But
yeah,
of course, the next one we might actually do in person, man. So I'm looking forward to that.
yeah, yeah. Riley is in LA with the fires. I have
I
now
know, man. I hope everybody's good, bro.
postponed some of her shooting days. So again, she was supposed to be back by late January. Now I can't answer. So
Yeah.
I don't want to give a date till she comes
No,
back.
no,
But
no.
do it. She's willing to come in for it, and then Avi, the cinematographer, is willing to do it, and see if I can get Ruby. She just wants to know the date, and I said I can't give her a date till.
Right, right. But we'll definitely get it going, man. But bro, I appreciate you. We'll bring you back on here, man. Anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, just thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it, and I look forward to the next one, and hopefully have my
Man,
cast, their cinematographer, to back me up with other things. I like to see what they're thinking, because it's one of those things where, oh, I think my project's, oh, it's great for me. It's all good. I wonder what's their intake. What's their view on my material or their approach?
right.
Because I honestly didn't really talk to Ruby or Riley about the part. I just told them, here it is. Told Riley, I know you're very young, but play it as like a 30-year-old. Play it like you're 29 or 30. I want maturity. You know, well, that's it. That's all I gave Ruby. I mean Riley, but Ruby, I didn't give him much pointers. Just
Yeah,
only
just
down.
keep off with it.
But I like to hear. Yeah, I'm very curious of this perspective, or how here I am nervous if material is even worthy enough, but how they felt about the material too.
No, you see, and I mean the fact that they agreed to jump on there. I mean, it speaks volumes. Because I mean, if if it was something they didn't want to do or wouldn't like, I mean, of course they would have said no. But man, I was there firsthand. I mean, watching them in action, watching them, turn this into a reality. I mean, there was times, I think there was two times actually where I kind of got caught because I was so busy watching them act, and I was like, oh crap, I had to jump on something myself, man. But it was good though, man. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the short. So as soon as it drops, I'm sure we'll let the world know. But my man, I appreciate you jumping on here, brother. We'll bring you back again, like we stated, as soon as everything clears. Thank you very much for your time, bro. Everybody out there, of course, once again, Robert Cantu. This is Spider Coming Soon podcast. Till next time.